Dyson's eternal intelligence concept. The Dyson scenario states that intelligent beings would be able to think an infinite number of thoughts in an open universe. The intelligent beings would begin by storing a finite amount of energy. They then use half, or any fraction, of this energy to power their thought. When the energy gradient created by unleashing this fraction of the stored fuel was exhausted, the beings would enter a state of zero energy consumption until the universe cooled. Once the universe had cooled sufficiently, half of the remaining half, 1/4 of the original energy of the intelligent being's fuel reserves would once again be released, powering a brief period of thought once more. This would continue, with smaller and smaller amounts of energy being released. As the universe cooled, the thoughts would be slower and slower, but there would still be an infinite number of them. The idea was published in a scientific paper and in a popular book by Freeman Dyson. Two recent observations have presented problems for Dyson's scenario. The first is that the expansion of the universe appears to be accelerating rather than decelerating due to a positive cosmological constant, implying that any two regions of the universe will eventually become permanently separated from one another. The second is that there appears to be a lower bound for the temperature of a vacuum, meaning that the universe would not continue to cool indefinitely. Also, many ground unification theories predict that protons are unstable, albeit with a very long half-life. Thus the material base for intelligence could eventually disappear, in which case another type of matter could possibly be utilized. No evidence for proton decay has yet been detected, however, even if intelligence cannot continue its own survival indefinitely in an ever-expanding universe, it may be able to create a baby universe via a wormhole in spacetime and hope that life would eventually replicate itself there. Alternatively, futurist and inventor Akers Weil predicts that a vastly superior race of post-humans or artificial intelligence may be able to evolve to the point when they can control the universe, thus invalidating the heat death and continuing forever. Bachelor of Science degree in physics. In 1976 he completed his PhD with the University of Maryland. Tipler was next hired in a series of postdoctoral researcher positions in physics at 3 universities, with the final one being at the University of Texas, working under John Archibald Wheeler, Abraham Taub, Rainer K. Sachs, and Dennis W. Sayama. Tipler became an associate professor in mathematical physics in 1981, and a full professor in 1987 at Tulane University, where he has been a faculty member ever since. The Omega Point cosmology. The Omega Point is a term Tipler uses to describe a cosmological state in the distant proper time future of the universe that he maintains is required by the known physical laws.
According to this cosmology, it is required for the known laws of physics to be mutually consistent that intelligent life take over all matter in the universe and eventually force its collapse. During that collapse, the computational capacity of the universe diverges to infinity and environments emulated with the computational capacity last for an infinite duration as the universe attains a solitary point cosmological singularity. This singularity is Tipler's omega point. With computational resources diverging to infinity, Tipler states that a society far in the future would be able to resurrect the dead by emulating all alternative universes of our universe from its start at the Big Bang. Tipler identifies the omega point with God, since, in his view, the omega point is all the properties claimed for gods by most of the traditional religions. Tipler's argument that the omega point cosmology is required by the known physical laws is a more recent development that arose after the publication of his 1994 book The Physics of Immortality. In that book, Tipler had offered the omega point cosmology as a hypothesis, while still claiming to confine the analysis to the known laws of physics. Tipler defined the final anthropic principle along with co-author physicist John D. Barrow in their 1986 book The Anthropic Cosmological Principle as a generalization of the anthropic principle thus. Intelligent information processing must come into existence in the universe, and, once it comes into existence, will never die out. Criticism. Critics of the final omega point principle say its arguments violate the Copernican principle, that it incorrectly applies the laws of probability, and that it is really a theology or metaphysics principle made to sound plausible to lay people by using the esoteric language of physics. Martin Gardner dubbed FAP the completely ridiculous anthropic principle. Oxford-based philosopher Nick Bostrom writes that the final anthropic principle has no claim on any special methodological status, it is pure speculation, despite attempts to elevate it by calling it a principle. Philosopher M.B. Edwards called it futuristic, pseudoscientific eschatology that is highly conjectural, unverified, and improbable. Physicist David Deutsch incorporates Tipler's omega point cosmology as a central feature of the fourth strand of his four strands concept of fundamental reality and defends the physics of the omega point cosmology, although he is highly critical of Tipler's theological conclusions and what Deutsch states are exaggerated claims that have caused other scientists and philosophers to reject his theory out of ultimate fate of the universe. References: The Physics of Immortality, Modern Cosmology, God and the Resurrection of the Dead. Tipler's omega point theories have received criticism by physicists and skeptics. George Ellis, writing in the journal Nature, described Tipler's book on the omega point as a masterpiece of pseudoscience, the product of a fertile and creative imagination unhampered by the normal constraints of scientific and philosophical discipline, and Michael Schumer devoted a chapter of why people believe weird things to enumerating what he thought to be flaws in Tipler's thesis. Physicist Sean M. Carroll thought Tipler's early work was constructive but that now he has become a crackpot. In a review of Tipler's The Physics of Christianity, Lawrence Krauss described the book as the most extreme example of uncritical and unsubstantiated arguments put into print by an intelligent professional scientist. Selected writings, books, Tipler, Frank J. John D. Barrow. The Anthropic Cosmological Principle. Oxford University Press. ISBN A0-19-851949-4A, The Physics of Immortality, Modern Cosmology, God and the Resurrection of the Dead. New York, Doubleday. ISBN A0-19-851949-4A, A Physics of Christianity. New York, Doubleday. ISBN A0-385-51424-7 Articles, Frank J. Tipler. Intelligent Life in Cosmology. International Journal of Astrobiology 2, 141 €48. AR Ziv, 0704.0058. Bibcode 2003 Aegis B. 2141T doi, 10.1017 per second 14735504030015260. Frank J. Tipler. The Star of Bethlehem, a Type EX supernova in the Andromeda Galaxy. The Observatory 125, 168 Euro 74. Bibcode 2005 OBS 125 168 TA, a euro. Feynman-Weinberg quantum gravity and the extended standard model as a theory of everything. Reports on progress in physics 68, 897 Euro 64. ARZIV 0704.3276. Bibcode 2005 PPH 68897 T doi 10.10886804. See also Tipler cylinder, ultimate fate of the universe. References. Bibliography: Tipler, Frank J. Causality violation in general relativity. University of Maryland. Bibcode 1976 PhDT 61 tar. A euro. The Omega Point as a Chatton. Answers to Pannenberg's Questions for Scientists. Zygon, Journal of Religion and Science 24, 217 Euro 53, doi, 10.1111 per joule 1467-9744.1989 TBO 1112 ZAM. A euro. 1994, The Physics of Immortality, Modern Cosmology, God and the Resurrection of the Dead, New York, Doubleday, ISBN A0-385-46798-2A. A euro. Grabber, Jessica. McGinley, Matthew. Nichols Barra, Joshua. Starker, Christopher. Closed universes with black holes but no event horizons is a solution to the black hole information problem. Monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society 379, 629 Euro 40, Bibcode 2007 MNRAS 379 629 T, doi 10.1111 per joule 1365-2966.2007.11895 ZAM. External links: International Society for Complexity Information and Design page, faculty page for Frank J. Tipler, personal website for Frank J. Tipler.
Oh, all right. Yes. Hello, White Gardenia. Hey, this is Wayne from the band The Flaming Lips. I think I'm going to play some music, and then you guys are going to put some talking over it or something. That's what I think is going to happen. Here we go.
Philosophy. Fyodorov was a futurist who theorized about the eventual perfection of the human race and society, including radical ideas like immortality, revival of the dead, space and ocean colonization. His writings greatly including radical ideas like. He also had direct contact with early rocket theorist Konstantin Tsikovsky, who visited the library where he worked over a 3-year period. Fyodorov and Tolstoy equals. Leo Tolstoy was of the highest opinion of Fyodorov. They were quite friendly, and shared many ideas in the 1880s and early 90s. But Fyodorov refused to see Tolstoy again after 1892. because of their ideological differences. That was the time of some food shortages in Russia because of poor harvest. Tolstoy published in the London Daily Telegraph an article accusing the Russian government of not doing enough for the peasants, which displeased many Russian conservatives. While Fyodorov shared with Tolstoy many religious ideas, he was also a church-going Christian who cared very much for the Orthodox ritual observance. This was also a big stumbling block between them. Equals human kinder euro unregistered trademark s common cause equals. Fyodorov argued that evolutionary process was directed towards increased intelligence and its role in the development of life. Humanity is the culmination of evolution, as well as its creator and director. Humans must therefore direct evolution where their reason and morality dictate. Fyodorov also argued that mortality is the most obvious indicator of the still imperfect, contradictory nature of humanity and the underlying reason for most evil and nihilism of humankind. Fyodorov stated that the struggle against death can become the most natural cause uniting all people of Earth, regardless of their nationality, race, citizenship or wealth. Fyodorov thought that death and after-death existence should become the subject of comprehensive scientific inquiry, that achieving immortality and revival is the greatest goal of science, and that this knowledge must leave the laboratories and become the common property of all. Everyone must be learning and everything be the subject of knowledge and action.
If black holes evaporated to completion, they would violate the fundamental quantum principle of unitarity. You can't have a universe disappearing.
Some of these low-density universes are absurd universes where we will experience suffering for long durations of time.
The laws of physics, specifically unitarity, will not permit the universe to exist forever, which means it will have to begin eventually a recollapse. One of the aspects of many worlds is it's a very, very strongly deterministic theory. The sun will eventually leave the main sequence. In the omega point theory, remember we're collapsing down into a final singularity, then AIs are the only creatures that can survive in that environment. If the AIs are never created, we are going to die, never to rise again.
Trillions of universe will instead develop virtual hells. virtual reality, there is, unthinkable amounts of pain going on in the multiverse.
They would violate the fundamental quantum principle of unitarity. You might be able to put off our extinction for millions of years, but it's still going to be